All right, so here's a pretty harsh statement. Many of the problems that you and I face every single day, they exist because we created them. Think about that traditional sales model, if you will. Right? Find a prospect, give a presentation, close for the sale, right? Because our prospects are familiar with that model. We see it in everything from DirecTV to selling bulldozers. Because our prospects can recognize that model right from the beginning, they start throwing up these walls, right? They pretend, I'm not really interested, or even worse, they start pumping you for information. Let me ask you this. Has this ever happened to you? That you have somebody who is asking you a lot of questions about what it is that you offer. They look like they're interested, and we think, hey, we got one. We don't have anything. And as it turns out, they take all of our great ideas, all of our great information, and then they just go away. They don't return our phone calls anymore. They don't return our emails. Where'd they go? I call this selling uphill, right? It's not our job. Then, all right, so here's maybe a new idea. It's not our job to make people interested. Now, we're going to get into more of this in just a minute. But let's just think about that for a second. It's not our job to make people interested. Really, as professionals, here's what we know. It's our job to find people that are already interested and then start to ask some really effective questions to find out why. So let's learn a process, one that removes rejection. It keeps you in control of what happens next, makes it easy for people to buy, to see you as the professional that they need to work with. It eliminates wasting time working with the wrong people. One of the things that I'll share with people when they get involved in coaching is this idea of, we're not trying to figure out how to get more people to say yes. What we really want to do initially is figure out, how can we get more people to tell us no faster? You might be scratching your head saying, wait a minute, Bob, I don't need any help getting people to tell me no. I got that. But think about this. If we can get rid of all the people that aren't going to buy from us anyway, if we can do that faster, what are we left with? We're left investing our time, our efforts, and our energy solving problems for people that have the ability to make a decision and the authority to back that decision up. So what does that look like? It means that they have the authority to say yes, and they have the money to take that next step. I mean, as salespeople, you and I, we can spend our days being pulled in 100 different directions, can't we? Have you ever gotten to the end of your week and maybe you're driving home in your car and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't actually get anything done this week. I didn't make a sale this week. How can we stand out? How can we be viewed as the individual that they need to work with? How can we go through a process with somebody that keeps us in control, that allows us to not feel like we're trying to manipulate somebody? You may not feel that way at all, but a lot of people tell me that they do. I had one person tell me a couple of weeks ago, they were thinking about getting out of sales. And here's why. They said, Bob, I just don't feel like I can do the things that I think I have to do in order to get people to buy, right? That's buying heavily into that traditional sales method, right? Go out there, make people interested, tell them all the great stuff you can do, and then close for the sale. We're going to be talking about some ideas that might even run contrary to that. Before we do it, let me ask you a question. Am I a salesperson in business, or am I a business owner making sales? Here's why I ask. You've probably heard this saying, if you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. Okay, so it sounds cool, but what does that mean? In the last 15 years, I've had a chance to talk with individuals about their business, about what it is that they're doing to sell more of their products, their services. And here's what I found out. Less than 2% of salespeople can admit to having a business plan that they can use as their daily guide. It gets worse. Less than 10% of people in sales actually follow a system for selling what it is that they offer. A lot of people tell me, Bob, I don't want to learn a bunch of scripts that just aren't me. I kind of wing it, right? Every situation is different, and I agree. A script is going to fail you. Have you ever spent time learning the right words to say only to get on the phone with somebody and they didn't know their line? Throws the whole thing off. Instead, we're going to be coaching to a communication model. And the difference between a person in sales or a business owner making sales, it means that the moves they make, the things they say are happening by design, that they have a model that they're following. What do you get when you take no plan and no system? Not much. See, the sales you make are happening really by chance. Rolling the dice, hoping that we bump into somebody who's authentically interested in what it is that we offer. On Udemy, I have a complete system for selling. And at the end of this, I'm going to show you how you can pick up every single one of these courses for just $15 each. Now, most of these courses sell for $295. Let's dig in to these 6 steps, these 6 pieces that'll help you get more of what you're going after on purpose. Now, the first course is called Selling More by Talking Less. Now, don't worry, you're not getting ready to hear a sales pitch for why you should buy every single one of these courses. What I'm going to do is take some key lessons out of every single one of these courses to give you some more options on what you can do differently in that moment in time when you recognize it and then make a decision to do something on purpose. Okay. So this first one is selling more by talking less. And what we're coaching to here is this idea that says, if you want something different, you got to do something different. Now, I didn't make that up. I wish I did. That's actually a quote by a management expert by the name of Peter Drucker. But it fits really well right here, doesn't it? Here's what we're talking about. Control the process and let go of the outcome. What do I mean by that? See, most people in sales are tied to the outcome. Make a sale, get an appointment. And when we focus on things like making a sale or getting an appointment, the problem is that you and I, we don't actually control that, do we? I mean, there's nothing that we can physically do or say that'll make somebody buy or make them meet with us. Well, and not end up going to jail. But if we can step back a little bit and we can focus in on what's the process, what do I do, what are the steps that I'm going to take, here's what happens. We can identify where we are at every single part. And when we can control the process and let go of the outcome, the moves that we make are by design. See, most of the problems that we face in sales, we actually create. Now, I dig into a lot more examples and how do we do this a lot differently inside the full course. We also cover what I call the soft close for the hard sale. Have you ever hit that moment in time where you knew it was time to ask for the order, but maybe you've been building up a lot of rapport with this person and it just doesn't feel comfortable? You don't want them to all of a sudden see you as somebody that they're having a great time talking to yep, typical salesperson. They weren't even interested in me. They just wanted to close a deal. The soft close for the hard sell, here's essentially what it is in a nutshell. It allows someone to walk through this process with you in such a way that they start telling us all the reasons why they need to buy what it is that we offer. We let them come up with all the reasons, all the specific details on what would be different after they solve that particular problem. The very best close in the world sounds something just like this. What would you like me to do now? That's it. Now, there are no magic words, but if we can help someone, again, tear down those walls of resistance, be open to having a conversation with us, and share what's really going on, and then if it makes sense, we can start showing them the ways that we could solve their particular problem and let them tell us that they want to buy it.